love to do, just give you one more thing, is I love to spend time talking about relational leadership. Have you ever heard the term relational leadership? So typically when people look at me like this, that means no. So go ahead and say no, Deb. Like, remember Lisa told us, use your voice, so say no. Okay, but then say relational. And then look at your neighbor and say leadership. And then on 3, say it together. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and so who is the most annoying, frustrating, hardest person to lead? Yeah, go ahead and say it. Myself. Yeah, yourself. No, it's ourselves, right? And so I believe the reason that I like to focus on relational leadership is because I believe that people go along with people that they get along with and that they like. Does that make sense? Like, I don't really even need to follow you. I don't need to have to, I don't have to friend you. I don't have to hit likes on your social media. But where it's more likely that we're going to follow people that we actually get along with and that we like. And that's that vibe and that energy, right? I mean, have you ever met somebody for the very first time and you're like, yeah, no. Right? Yeah, right? It's that, like, especially ladies, intuition. We would be billionaires if we could bottle it up. Right? And so that's right. And conversely, have you ever met somebody for the very first time and you're like, heck yeah. Yes, right, Kelly? Yes. Yes, so say yes. I love the word yes. Because I believe I'd like to have that habit of say yes until it's a no. I got that from really good mentoring from AO leadership, okay? I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. So say yes until it's a no. But so I just believe that we're so relationally conscious as far as women go. So if you will, we have a few things that we're going to do. I love to be interactive. So is it okay if we have a conversation? Yes, instead of me going, now here are the 7 points. And then you're like, Deb, it's been 2 days. I need to go to sleep now. And I'm hungry. And so coming at you are some 5 by 7-ish cards. They're kind of cute. They get a little pink on them. And I'm going to give you your first assignment. Is it okay? Okay, so we're going to have a conversation. I don't need you to, don't panic. I'm not going to call you out unless you roll your eyes at me. I teach kickboxing on Saturday mornings. If you ever want to come to Boston and have a kickboxing class, we can do that. Or we can take it out right here if you roll your eyes at me. You're like, she threatens us. And so my question is this before we start. Is there a lack of humanity in our society right now? Yes. Is there an abundance of disconnectedness? And does that disconnectedness start with ourselves many times? Right? And so I have a very simple assignment because here's the thing. If there's room for improvement in all of this, if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? Because Lisa already talked about it. Who's going to have that voice? What's that legacy going to look like? And so your first assignment, you have a writing instrument? Show me. Don't just tell me, show me. And then show me that paper that you have. Okay, so do you see at the top, there's a statement that says, what's right with me? Do you see that? Wait, I need to pause. Did you know that we have a whole basketball team here? Did you know that? And did you know that they're young ladies in middle school? So can we just give them a round? They have been sitting here since this morning. So can we give them a round of applause? And then just as important, not more, just as, that they actually have coaches that brought them here. That's huge. So can we give our hand? Can you just stand for a second so we can just honor you, coaches? Yes, just graduated from college. Yes. Wait, and where's Coach in the back? Coach, wave in the back. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Investing in our young people. So thank you for saying yes. And I think you might have a dance for us at the end on the stage. Maybe? Remember, the answer is yes. Okay, the answer is yes. Okay. And so what I'd like you to do is I would like you to take a moment, and I would like you, that writing instrument and that paper, and I want you to answer that question at the very top that says, what's right with me? Your writing instrument works. Don't stare at me. I want to see whether you need your roots done or not. And I want you to just write down what's right with you. Don't complicate this. Like, don't even worry. Like, middle school, don't worry about spelling. If we can't spell check, it's fine. But just, it doesn't have to be long, run-on sentences. It's just real quick, what's right with me? Let's take a minute and do that. And so it could be characteristics, right? I mean, I got some good hair. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thanks, Mom. I have pretty blue eyes. But some might be physical. I'm athletic, but also character-wise, I'm as positive as they come. Don't go on vacation with me. If you're not a morning person, I will annoy you, and you won't want to be friends with me. People go along with people they get along with. So when you have 20, I would like you to stand. All right, for the sake of time, I'm going to stop you right there. Did you notice that the dynamics in the room just changed when I said, when you get 20, stand, and none of you have stood yet? And did you notice the dynamics in the room changed when I did say 20? Did you notice there was like, wait, what? She said 20, like 20? Yes, Deb's son's hockey number. And so here's the thing. If I were to throw some truth serum on you, here it is. I'm splashing you. I'm anointing you with truth serum. Not that you need it. After this, if you need that after this conference, we need to talk. And so if I were to throw some truth serum on you, by a show of hands, honestly, no judging, how many of you, by a show of hands, would be willing to admit that you probably spend more time thinking about what you don't have, what you can't do, and what you're not good at, versus what you do have, what you can do, and what you are good at? And I appreciate your vulnerability. Look around the room, and I appreciate that. So I came here all the way from the East Coast to tell you this. Stop it. Mic drop, I'm done. Yeah, no, it's hard to do the right thing when you feel the wrong way. And the reason that you feel the wrong way is because you can't write down 20 things that are good about you. Because we don't want to be cocky. We don't want people to think we're conceited. But how many of us want to be around somebody who's confident? Okay, look at me. This is not confident. Right? And so, in order for us to be confident, we have to start buying into ourselves. But that all starts with our mindset. That all starts with what are we telling ourselves? Because I could stand next to you all day, every day and go, oh my gosh, you're amazing. You're awesome. You're this, you're that. You're going to walk away and go, oh my gosh, I hate my hair. I hate this. I hate that. And we're just going to have that negative dialogue. And you can't give away what you don't have. And James Clear tells us in his book, Atomic Habits, that 42%, say 42. So on average, 42% of your day is habit. You don't even think about it. And if you're an athlete, we all add all the superstitions on and everything like that, right? And so if we're spending 42% of our day on what we don't have, what we can't do, what we're not good at, how's your self-esteem? How's your confidence? Right? And here's what we do, and I'm not being mean, so look at me and smile. I'm not Debbie Downer. Not everybody can do that authentically. Deb, get it? Okay. But here's the thing, is that what happens because that's our habit, we put that on everybody else. And so I'm going to just look for your flaws because that's all I do for me. Look for the flaws. And so we put that on everybody else, and then we can't see what's right with you because we can't even see what's right with ourselves. And then you wonder why we have the division. We wonder why we have the, we could go on and on. We don't have time for that. And so here's what I know. Here's why it's important for us to sit down and have a conversation. Because when was the last time you ever did that? When was the last time that you wrote down what was right with you? Say it out loud. 1, 2, 3. Hurts my soul. So I'm so glad you came here for this conference. Because again, you can't give away what you don't have. And here's the thing. I remember when I was a little girl, it was just a couple years ago. So when I was... I appreciate that. I paid them to laugh. When I was younger, my life was really good growing up. My mom, there were 6 of us. My parents divorced when they were a month old. They were a month old. When I was a month old, and there were 6 of us. And my mom, she remarried, and I had a stepdad, and he had 3 children. So there's 9. Brady Bunch. right? Brady Bunch. I'm the youngest. Yes, I'm a little defiant because of that. It's okay. We had one bathroom. It's okay. But I have really thick hair. I didn't have to wash my hair every day. It's fine. So there were 9 of us, and I was raised by my mom and my stepdad. And to us, he was my dad because my dad left. When I was a month old, he left. But I was very blessed. My mom loved horses. We lived on a farm. I had my own horse when I was 5. My mom was like, I think you were born with a ball in your hand. I always wanted to throw a ball, hit a ball, kick a ball, be the ball. And so was my oldest brother, Terry. He was the same way, but he got the tall gene. He was 6'2". Thanks, Mom. And so we were kind of the athletes of the family, and my older sister, super pretty, as we'd say in New England, wicked pretty. And she would be running around for beauty pageants, all the things, always doing nails. I wanted to ride my horse and shoot guns. I can say that. We're in Texas. I can say that, right? You can judge me. It's fine. And so, that was just my thing. And then play ball. And so life was good. We had boundaries. And I was blessed that Mom was able to stay home. So we didn't have all the bells and whistles. We didn't have the sparkly hairspray or the fancy shoes or anything like that. But we had boundaries. We had values. We had dinner at the table. We went to church on Sunday. Life was good. One day, Mom was always home when I got on the bus, and Mom was always home when I got off the bus. And I was 7 years old, and I just started 2nd grade, and I got off the bus that day, and my mom wasn't home. And on that day, my mom passed at 36 years old with 9 kids. That will make your life a little different. I was very blessed that I had siblings. I was very blessed that I had a brother who said, hey, I know you're missing Mom. Come on, let's go play ball. And so life is different. I was blessed that my stepfather, to who us was my father, he made life tolerable, and then eventually we start moving on. That happened in August. 6 months later, I got off the bus, and that day, to who was our father, was my stepfather, but to us was our father. I got off the bus that day, and my father was not home. And on that day, my father was killed in an accident. And now you have 9 children with no parents. That'll cause you to start thinking a little differently. And so the short version is that, because I'm between you and dinner, so the short version is that I met my father for the very first time at 7.5, and he only lived 40 minutes away. Hashtag not that interested. And so at that time, the short version is 4 of us went to go live with my father. He was remarried. I had a stepmother. And I was very blessed that I had a brother who looked out for me, because my room was in the attic. And I had, some sheets to give me a little privacy or whatnot. But I can remember lying in bed at night, listening to, okay, might be dating myself a little bit, but I would have my alarm clock radio under my pillow. And I'd be listening to Delilah. Anybody? Okay, you're my people. Okay, you're my people. And I would lie there, and I had my other hand over my ear, drowning out the fighting that was going on downstairs. And I would lie there, and I would say, I'm going to be something someday. I'm going to do something significant. I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to be a lawyer and lock up mean people. That might make sense later. And my brother would be across the way, and he'd say it again, Deb. Say it again. Don't be a victim. And that might seem a little harsh. Whoa, that's a little harsh, Deb. You know what's harsh? Harsh is having a father that tells you that you're stupid, that you're an idiot, that you'll never amount to anything. Harsh is losing your mom and your dad at 7 and 7.5 years old, and then all of a sudden you're being told you're an idiot. You probably won't amount to anything. You'll probably get pregnant, drop out of school. College? Don't think about it. We don't have any money. Awesome. That's harsh. And I'm very fortunate that a long time ago, I learned what's right with me. I'm a scrappy second baseman. Yeah, you are. So would you do me a favor? Write one more thing down. Just one more. You don't even have to tell anybody. It'll be your secret. What's right with you? What's right with you? See, my dad, when I went to move in with my dad, we had 2 refrigerators in our house. One had food in it sometimes, and the other one had a keg in it with a tap on the outside, and they were back to back in our kitchen. And I'm going to guess that I'm not the only person in this room right now that has lost a loved one, that has been abused physically, verbally, emotionally, or all of the above because of alcoholism. And there's nothing right, and there's nothing fair about that. But Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Right? And so, remember this, you can't give away what you don't have. And so, I want us to start thinking about, because 42% of our day is based on habit, and if our habit is about what's wrong with me versus what's right with me, what I can't do, what I don't have, what I'm not good at, versus what I do have and what I can do and what I am good at, not only can you not give away what you don't have, but you're focused on what's missing versus what's meaningful. That's a really good thing to write down, because Denise said so. And that's a mind shift, focusing on what's meaningful, not what's missing. And so my next question is this. How many of you would love to have a little more quality of life? Me too. I'm moving to South Carolina. Okay. And so, wait, I had 3 people went like this. And then I heard, woo, 1. My friend Kelly. By show of hands, how many of you would love to have a little more quality of, I'm not saying you don't have a quality of life, but remember, we're about getting better here. So how many of you would like to have a little more quality of life? There you go. Remember, we're having a conversation. It's not Deb talking at you. We're having a conversation. And so with that, I want you to tell your neighbors, and if there's 2 of you and there's somebody near you and you want to turn around because we're having conversations, what I'd like you to do is, what do relationships have to do with having quality life? 1 minute, go. All right, and time. Give me some feedback. What were some of the things that people said at your tables? You don't have to tell me what you said, but tell me what your neighbor said. You've read my script. All right, so we'll summarize everything that you said. The key word is everything. Okay, look across the table, say everything. And then point at somebody else and say everything. Everything. Yes, but here's why. Because if that's the case, then our ability and our willingness to establish meaningful and intentional relationships determine our leadership effectiveness. But that leadership we're only talking about leading ourselves today. So our ability and our willingness. Can you be able but not willing? Can you be willing but not able? What happens when you're more willing? You become more able, right? And so but in order to do that, we need to slow down, yes or yes, right? And so in order to slow down and establish meaningful and intentional relationships, because I believe that the relationship that we have with ourselves is a direct reflection of the relationships that we have with other people. The relationship that we have, what's right with me, is the direct reflection of the relationship that we have with other people, because you can't give away what you don't have. And so with that being said, we need to value ourselves, yes or yes, okay? And do we need to value other people, right? But in order to value other people and to value ourselves, we need to know what our values are. Yes, okay, good. Okay, remember, conversation. Okay, so in order to value ourselves, so first of all, so when I say values, what do we mean by that? Let's start there. Let's keep it simple. What are values? Things that are important to us, our beliefs, our moral compass, right? And so where do we learn them? Family, friends, coaches, peers, colleagues, parents, family, right? And so are they important? Why? Yeah, I'm that person. Why? We need them to build because are they part of our decision process, right? And do they govern our character, right? And so I have another assignment for you. Remember, we're just having a conversation, but it is an assignment. So what I'd like to do is I'd like you to take a moment, because if they're important, when was the last time you wrote down your values? The key, yeah. It's in my message. Yes, you can tell they're speakers. Okay, so here's what I'd like you to do. On your card, you'll also see that there are 3 columns of values. Do you see them? Okay, this is a silent activity. You don't need to ask your neighbor. I want you to think about you and what I'd like you to do. They're all really good, right? But they don't necessarily all apply to you. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go through and I'd like you to just put a check mark next to the ones that are important to you. If you don't know what it means, it's not important to you. But what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to circle your top 5 from the ones you checked. All right, what I would like you to do out of your top 3 at your table with your table mates, what I would like you to do is just share one of your top 3. If somebody else at the table has one that you're familiar with, please don't go, oh, me too. People go along with people they get along with and that they like. So go ahead and make sure that you're like, no way, me too. You don't have to be that dramatic, but like give a little life because we deserve it, right? And share. But here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to share one that is important to you, but also I'd like you to share why it's important to you, and then more importantly, where does it show up in your everyday living? Because if it's important, should it be showing up? And go. And time. Did you have any that were similar? Any similar ones? What were some of the ones that you had in common? Family. How many of y'all had family? Nice. Okay, another one. Faith. How many of us had faith? Okay, another one. Authenticity. Love that. How many of us had authenticity? How about faith? How about growth? Raise your hand. Growth. Okay. Anything else that you had in common? Integrity. How many had integrity? I heard trust. Okay. Okay. John 10:10 tells us this. The thief does not come except to steal and to kill, and you heard this earlier, and to destroy. I have come that they may have life and that they may have it in more abundantly. And so, when was the last time that you wrote down what your values are? Right, okay. Here's why I feel it's important, because there was a moment that I allowed myself to be defeated. I allowed myself to maybe make a poor decision or two. Anybody else make a poor decision or two? Okay, good. I'm not alone in that. That's good. And that I allowed to be defeated because I lost sight of my values. I lost sight of what was right with me. See, I told you about my dad, and again, not alone of losing a loved one or having been told that I was stupid, I was an idiot, all the things. And I told you that I was very blessed that I had my brother. As an 8th grader, I had the opportunity to play up at the high school. Like I said, I put a ball in my hand. And so I was able to play up a little bit. I had a little talent. I wasn't amazing, but I had some talent. And I was like, put me in, coach, I want to play. And the reason that I was able to do that, because I had a mentor, happened to be my brother, who was like, hey, dad's drinking or whatever it was, and to go out and to go play ball. And at 14 years old, I almost fell over. At 14 years old, I was in 8th grade, and I had just made the high school team because my brother was like, we'll figure it out. I'm like, how am I going to get a ride? We'll figure it out. I don't have any equipment. We'll figure it out. Because I was told if I was going to do anything, I was on my own. And the day that I made the team up at the high school, and then the same day that I got perfect attendance award, because I was not going to, I'm not going to school if I'm sick. School was my safe place. And so I just admire you coaches for bringing your students here today so much. Because I had a coach who pushed me a little bit, got me involved. We're more likely to succeed if we're involved in something. And so I was getting perfect attendance award, most athletic, and I'm not bragging, confidence. And I was 14, leave me alone. But then most likely to succeed, which I thought was really interesting, most likely to succeed. Because nobody had any idea what was going on for me at home. Because trust me, when I was in 8th grade, I looked good, I smelled good, I wore the right clothes, I was cute then like I am now. It was fine, I was fine, right? That day I went home to hear these words, Deb, we're sorry, there's no easy way to tell you this, but Terry was killed today. That was my brother. That was my protector. That was the one who said, say it again, Deb, stop being a victim. And there's nothing right and there's nothing fair. And I could take you to the stump that I sat on and said to myself, I will never love anybody again. And if there's a God, why would he put me through this? And so if you tried to befriend me, it wasn't going to work out. And I'm not proud of that. We behave how we feel. And when we're young, we don't know, right? And so if I fast forward that, it only got worse. The abuse got worse. I was a runaway. I would run away to your house if you were my friend. I'd live on the porch. But unfortunately, my sister, she was 2 years older than I. And she did everything that my father said that she was going to do. Started with the red cups as a sophomore in high school that led to the hardcore, and then the marijuana that turned to the powder, that turned to the hardcore stuff, that became a habit, that became skipping school, dropping out of school, all the things. And that lifestyle took her life. And I have another brother who, the short version is addiction 1, too many syringes on his nightstand because he started using as a freshman in high school. My sister, who's the beauty pageant runner-up for Miss New Hampshire, started drinking at a young age. I watched her die in the hospital from cirrhosis of the liver that caused from too much drinking. My other sister, lung capacity, started smoking at a young age, died from lung disease. Y'all, I can't make this up. But we're allowed to choose. And when we choose, we're going to choose based on how we feel, even though we're not supposed to, but we're very emotional. Have you ever noticed that, ladies? Okay? And so my kids will never know what it's like to be raised the way I was raised. I had that one girl who stood up and said, Deb, 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 come sit with me, come sit with me. And you're going to have people in and out of your life that are going to show up, and whether it's for a week, whether it's a month, or whether it's seasons. And I can tell you that I have been married for 32 years, happily. Now, I appreciate that. And again, I don't say that doesn't mean every day was easy. But I'm one of 9 that graduated from high school, and I'm the youngest. I'm one of 9 that went on to college. I was going to be a lawyer, lock you up if you're mean. And now I'm the leadership lady. Skill set. All of these things that you have been taught today are skill sets. All the things that you were taught yesterday, mindset, skill sets. The whole entire thing, we are looking for transformation, yes? We have thrown 2 days of information at you. And trust me, most often we just put it on the shelf when we walk out that door. Well, that was a great conference. And we go right back to 42% is habit. And you wonder why they're promoting and offering you all these things. The reason I stand on this stage is because I took the risk to be involved with other people that were going to be push me a little bit to get me out of my comfort zone. And so I can't make this up. But what I can tell you is that you can only go as far as the people that you hang around with consistently. And that sphere of influence that you've been told about the entire time. And so, with that being said, we cannot allow our wounds to become our identity. I am not being mean. You will not be exempt from challenges and situations. And Lisa said that very clear today, especially if we are going to be godly women. But we will fail when we allow our wounds to become our identity. When we focus on what's wrong with us, what our wounds are, I'm going to have this shift our mindset a little bit, because you might think you're not qualified. But every single one of you, your flaws, here's what I know. I know that I could sit with every single one of you for a moment And we could be excited about something that you're going through, like, yes, let's go, let's do it. And in the next moment, we could have a good old ugly cry because of something that you're dealing with. We will not be exempt from challenges and situations. But if we lose our identity in that and we allow our wounds to become our identity, we will fail. And you will never be able to be the godly woman that you were meant to be. Because your flaws, your challenges, the things that you go through are what equips you to help the person you once were. And so I leave you with this. Jeremiah 29:11. I know, right? She's like, I'm so excited. Okay. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. But here's the thing. Hope is not a strategy. And we've given all this information to you, and we want transformation. How do you get from information to transformation? That was a question. We're having a conversation. Yes! We have information, 2 days of it, and more to have. And how do we get to transformation? Application. You got to put your Nikes on. You got to do it. And I can't do that for you. Dan can't do that for you. AO leadership can't do that for you. But we can equip you. We can mentor you. We can continue to serve you. And we can continue to add value to you for you to become the person that you're meant to be.